tag. So this is how link tag works. So say we have someone out here, they are the tagger, right? I am the person that's running around. I don't want to get tagged. And so what I'm going to do is you guys are going to link up your arms. Perfect. So this is how it works. Someone is trying to tag me. I'm going to run up to this group. I'm going to link. Whoever's on the other side, you are now the person who's going to be tagged. So you have to run to a different group and link up. Person on the other end of the group will run. So the whole goal is not to be tagged, okay? We've had a lot of other stuff coming up, but we are still doing our mission trips, and we would love for you to be a part of it. So, if you've not signed up, if you have questions, please let us know. We want you guys there on those trips.
We're in week 2 of our More Than a Crush series, talking about relationships, talking about dating. And I just wanted to be up front whenever I say that dating as we know it is a very new construct. It's a very new thing. Back in Jesus' day, didn't happen. Like, dating wasn't a thing. They only had 2 different kinds of, like, 2 gendered relationships in the Bible. It was either you were family, like siblings, or you were married. That was it. It was either you were family close, or you were in the process of getting married. So whenever we think about dating, it actually isn't anywhere in the Bible itself. Jesus doesn't say, like, hey, you need to date girls that look like this, and you need to date guys that look like this. We just can read what Jesus says about how to talk to other people and then apply that to dating. So I just want to let you know up front, that's the whole goal of the series. The goal is just to give you guys wisdom so that as things happen in your life, as you start thinking about dating someone, you can learn from our mistakes, you can hear from people who are a little bit ahead of you. Some of your leaders are married, some of them just have more experience, and have that guide you, okay? No one's going to do this perfect. If we ever said, like, you can't date anyone because you're a Christian, we know you just break that rule anyway. So we want to just give you tools to date well. So, today we're talking about the do's and don'ts of dating, right? Things that you want to do, things that are a good idea in dating, and things that are terrible ideas, things that you want to avoid at all costs. So I've been thinking a lot about relationships and the nature of how those things break down, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about rom-coms, right? How many of y'all like rom-coms? They're sappy, they're romantic, they're good, they're bad. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you, not only the worst rom-com I've ever seen, but the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. It's called The Kissing Booth. Have y'all ever seen this?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Literally the worst thing ever put to film. I'm going to say this. I'm going to strongly advise you to not watch this. not just because like it's TV 14, it's older than you are. It's actually the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. You want to know why? Do you want to know why? It's because, can we put the picture back up? It's because this girl is actively leading on, I think it's this guy, like they're trying to become a relationship while they keep it from his brother. Crazy, right? It's all sorts of red flags. It's all sorts of red flags. And it's funny. Is that her brother? I don't know. Okay, it was a very forgettable movie.
No, the other two brothers
The goal is, if you spend your whole relationship focused on yourself, on only what you want to do, if you spend all of your time with that other person thinking about how do I feel about the situation, how am I doing this thing, you've missed the whole point of the relationship. If we read in the Bible, Philippians 2 verses 3 through 5, it says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, rather, in humility, value others above yourself, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. In your relationships with one another, have the same mindset of Christ." Meaning, if your only focus, if your only goal in the relationship is to get what you want out of it, to feel the way that you want to feel, to have them do what you want them to do, if you're focused on yourself, that should tell you everything you need to know about the relationship. It can't progress past your own wants and desires, and that falls apart immediately. Another thing is don't just be looking for it. In Song of Songs, we've got a lot of verses tonight. In Song of Songs, chapter 2, verse 7, it says, "Don't awaken love until it so desires." Meaning, if you have in your mind, right, like just close your eyes and picture, I can't go without a girlfriend, I can't go without a boyfriend, because no one would respect me. The status, like my status, would be tarnished. Like, I can't go to school if I don't have someone who cares about me, and that's like the biggest anxiety in your life. If being in a relationship causes you more stress than it does peace and happiness, then that should tell you everything you need to know. Another thing, guys, I want you to think for a second. You are in middle school and you are in high school. It is okay to be single, all right? I need everyone do with me. I just need you to breathe silently and go. Guys, breathe silently. In 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 8, he says, "Now to the unmarried, to the widows, I say, it is good for them to stay unmarried as I do." Now, we're not saying this is forever, but I am just saying, it's okay to be single. One of my biggest regrets from high school, from middle school, was I always had some other girl that I was texting, always in a situationship, always like looking for whatever was next, and I missed out. I missed out on so many relationships with my best friends. I missed out on so many things because I was so focused on myself and making sure that I had the right person. All of this to say, don't be in a relationship for your own gain. If you are thinking about yourself more than anything else, maybe it's time to stop. So that's all the don'ts, right? That's what we could do, but we shouldn't do. So what is right? What is healthy? What is wise? How many of y'all have seen The Proposal or 10 Things I Hate About You, right? Going back to rom-coms. A handful of the girls have seen these movies. There's a couple of timid guys that don't want to admit it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and just say it. The Proposal is one of the best movies of all time. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The premise is Ryan Reynolds is kind of forcibly engaged to Sandra Bullock. And they have to go to his small town in Alaska and get married. But all of the family surrounding him. Everyone gets to weigh in. There's like Ben and White, like all these other characters are involved. And in 10 Things I Hate About You, it's pretty much the same thing. It's a high school relationship, but like she's only allowed to go to the prom if her sister does, and so the dad is heavily involved, but she has to like find a date, and she wants to find another date for her sister. And so there's all of these friends, all of these people weighing in on the situation. And that's the number one thing I want you to leave with, is if your relationship is built around community, if your relationship isn't just focused on what you want, and isn't just focused on like how you feel about it, but you have hung out with the other person in groups, and all of your friends are like, yo, that person's awesome. Like that guy, that girl is actually a good fit for you. Or if your parents would also approve, like you know your folks, and you know that they would say like, no, that's a good idea. You should ask them out. Like why you should do that. That's a good relationship. How many of y'all know what DTR is, right? As a term from my generation, it's a defining the relationship conversation. What I want to say, is that awkward, right? Go ahead. Is that awkward? Having a relationship where you have to like sit down, talk out the details, and say, hey, are we exclusive? Hey, are we all on the same page? Are we going in the same direction? Is this just like a summer thing that we're doing for a couple months? Like, are we allowed to be holding hands at school? Like, what's the deal there? I want to go ahead and say this. Have the conversation. The best advice I can give you is be intentional and just like lay it all out there. The only way feelings get hurt are when both of you guys have expectations that don't get met. So the only way you can meet those expectations is if you actually talk about it. It's if you actually like speak about it. So have a point in mind whenever you start the relationship and actually get there. Actually have the conversation. Number two is they need to honor you. In 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 3 through 4, it says, your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles and the wearing of gold jewelry or fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. If you have in your mind, I can't go out with that guy, or I can't go out with that girl until I look a certain way, right? I'm not saying don't dress up, but I'm saying that you can only wear the nicest clothes that you have. If you always have to have the right shoes, or be with the right people, if you are so focused on the outside, who's around you and what's around you, and you can't actually appreciate the other person for who they are, their character, their personality, that's not a relationship worth being. If you spend more time talking about how attractive they are, or cute they are, or what they look like, who they're with, and you don't spend time complimenting them on who they are they funny? Are they smart? Are they a good person? Do you like to be around them? Do other people like to be around them? That should tell you everything you need to know. I'm going to go ahead and close with this. I'm just going to get off here. How many of y'all have like the screen time notifications? On like, mine's every Sunday. I get that same like little message that says, hey, you've been on Instagram for 5 hours every day this week. Or like, your screen time is on like 23 hours out of 24 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? I want you to know this is not mine. I am a proud Apple Maps user. I know it's worse. I understand. I don't think I have the Google app. But I want you to think about this with your relationships. Hey, also, this doesn't have to just apply to dating other people. This could be with your friends. This could be with your family. Who do you spend your time with? What do you spend your time with? If your whole relationship is structured so that you have to be one-on-one with the other person, and you can't go hang out in public with them, that means something. But if your relationship is so much so that I know this is a crazy idea, I'm going to go ahead and say it, but if it's that you could actually show your parents the texts that you send to each other, if you could actually say like, hey, Mom, Dad, isn't this funny? Like, isn't like, Casey just sent me this. How great is that? If you get to that point, that means something. That means that is a healthy relationship. If you have other people that are pouring into the relationship, if you're asking leaders, and it seems like, oh my goodness, that person is actually just the most perfect, wonderful, flowery human you've ever seen, I want to say, read into that. Like, lean into that.